Ta-da. All right, Bankless DeSci Working Group 101723. We're just getting started. We just did some brief introductions, and going to continue pushing forward things on the unconference planning this week. And we've got a multi-sig poll to ratify, which is a big item, so that we can start accepting some funds to produce this event. So pull that up. Where are we at in the poll? I think we had a couple no votes, which I didn't hear any, concerns or critiques or things. I mean, there was a couple, I guess, concerns we had during the meeting and things we could do moving forward in terms of having more, like community-based governance instead of just using the multi-sig. But this is just to get started. So yeah, maybe there was some objections that were voiced, but mostly yes on the poll for the 5 signers who either nominated themselves or nominated each other and nominated Mantis Clone. And yeah, so that, if we all sort of agree on this call, if there's no other objections, or if there are, I also created a anonymous feedback form. Oh, and you can't even see my screen. Let me start presenting again, just to make sure this is documented for all to see. Okay, there's the poll. So the poll is 82% yes, 18% no, 17 votes. I think that's like a couple people voted no. So unless there's any strong objections today, I wanted to just sort of verbally, this is the weekly meeting, this is about as official as it gets, to ratify this. And I did announce in the chat that we'd be doing that. And there's this anonymous feedback form, which nobody's filled out yet. But if anybody really strongly objects to this and doesn't want to say it publicly, you can just fill out this form. You don't have to include an email address or name or anything, and just give feedback there. So, does anybody object? Should we ratify and close this poll?
Yeah, happy with that.
Cool. Anyone else? Any questions about these people? I know I've been on these calls, and CryptoTrum's been on these calls, but the other 3 haven't been able to make it. But I know them from Bankless DeSci for a while. So I support their nominations and voted yes. I voted yes on this, obviously, because I'm on it. I support them all, and I know them all from other work. So if anyone has questions or anything like that, we can also, if you don't want to say that here, feel free to put that in the feedback. But just want to make sure I give us its due diligence.
Yeah, I voted yes too. Is there anything we should do now? Sorry, I think I missed that part.
Nope, I just wanted to give an open floor to this topic before I close this poll, because I can click here and click stop poll, and voting's done. So just sort of last chance to say anything, suggestions, feedback, questions, anything.
Okay, cool.
Cool. All right, well, if that sounds like we're all good. I think this is actually a strong group, and we'll, this is temporary sort of election/nomination right now until we put some future governance in. I think that was discussed last week as well, and sort of briefly in the general chat with some comments for anybody who's watching. If you scroll up, you can find those. But yeah, so if there's no other objections, I'll go ahead and stop that poll. And I will ping these 4 others, because I've also been, DM'd just to make sure. Mantis Clone has chimed in a little bit in the general chat, but I was communicating with them via DM just to make sure super on board, and because I nominated them. And yeah, so cool, we're in, and we'll get that going. We'll talk more about potential sponsorship and grants and stuff as we go through this call, which those would be going to a multi-sig, right? And so as the community decides to produce this event, like we're all kind of doing it together. That's really the goal here. All right, so I'll stop belaboring on that. Check. Sweet. So yeah, I'll definitely post the contract address in the group chat once that is live and everyone's on there. You'll be able to see all the signers' addresses. All the transactions will be transparent. Sweet. So next thing is setting a date for the unconference. Actually, let me pull this up here. So we got our feedback form, which I'll show that as well. Just pull up the form here. So this is the form we've been asking people to fill out. We've got, it was 51 when I looked at it last night. Yeah, we're at 54 now. I invited a couple other people. I posted in the Tokenomics Engineering Commons. And I think this is Chris Burns, who he's one of Molecule's lead attorneys, one of the key designers of the IP NFT framework and Friends framework. That's Chris Williams. But yeah, I invited a couple other people to submit this. That I think would be great session leaders. Yeah, we're at 54 total responses right now. A lot of speakers. We got 33. I hope I didn't just dox anybody's email by showing. Oh, I didn't show it. Perfect. Okay. I'm looking at two screens right now. Cool. Yeah, we're up to a bunch of really good potential speakers and potentially even a couple keynotes who've submitted responses to this form. And we asked them like what day of the week is best and what time zone they're in. So those results that I aggregated last week are in here in the unconference sessions channel. So out of those, it was, I think, 40 something responses when I did this analysis. So out of those 40 responses, people could submit more than, they could select multiple roles they want to participate in. And speakers like session facilitators. So most of the people submitting so far are potential session facilitators, which is great. Those are the people we need to be in contact with early to, make sure we schedule them, schedule their sessions, and to communicate with them and see what their topics are going to be, right? What their content is going to be. So I think that's great. We've got a lot of those people applying already. We got a couple moderators. We've got at least 8 moderators, mostly people from within the Bankless DeSci community. And so those can be people that are like hanging out in each of the breakout rooms just to facilitate if there's like a lot of people in there, if the chat's going wild, if a lot of people are trying to get up and speak on stage. Because I think that's kind of how it's going to be run. We're either going to do it in Zoom or we're going to use a custom platform that I've been working on developing with Crypto Nahu. Well, not custom. We literally just took a template app and sort of are rebranding it for Bankless DeSci. And that would be able to host a virtual conference, which could save us some money. It would be cool. We'd be able to fully control the branding. We'd definitely be able to support a few hundred people, no problem. All sort of live streaming and doing like in breakout rooms. So we could have multiple people like sharing their cameras and stuff. It would be pretty cool to, I think, host that ourselves and have full control over it instead of relying on Zoom. And people could just go straight to the website and see the schedule and click right there and join a session right there on the website. banklessdci.org, which is currently maybe down because we've been working on it. But that's kind of where we're at now. Is things are looking good in terms of who can attend. Let's see if I can zoom in. Oh yeah. Okay, topic. This one's a fun one. So we've asked people what topics they'd be interested in either learning about or discussing, in an unconference session or leading a session on. And so community one, that got the most interest. So like forming a DeSci community building, I think was the name of the topic. So a lot of people are interested in that. Funding, obviously. D-Health, tokenomics. This is why I posted also in the Tokenomics Engineering Commons, because a lot of people are interested in that. Obviously, D-Health, we got a lot of, invited DAO, sort of bio DAOs and stuff in there. But D-Health more so than bio. AI, yeah, cool responses. I'll let anyone chime in here because I think this is interesting. Barrett, I feel like you probably have some feedback about funding based on our conversation this morning or earlier.
Yeah, that and the community side, and yeah, I think a lot of this does make sense for what kind of things people want. Just trying to think how we would structure it, but yeah, I don't know off the top of my head, but yeah, I don't think. Funding wise, yeah, we can definitely get a lot of people from different DAOs that work on the deal flow, IP, NFT side. And that kind of ties in with some of the tokenomics, I think, with funding. So that can probably be one, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think this enables us to start thinking about, how many breakout rooms we're going to want in total. And, one room would probably be like you said, funding for the first part of the unconference, and then for the second half would be tokenomics or something. I think those would go great together.
And do we have are we going to set like a limit on the size of a breakout group? Because my preference would be towards keeping it a smaller number so everyone can get to know each other and it actually be interactive.
Right. I'm thinking max we're going to want like 6, maybe 8 running at a time, depending on how many people register in total. I think if we had 8, we had 300 people registered. I mean,
Yeah.
The goal is how we're marking this is like, it's going to be like a 4-hour event. So please show up
Yeah,
the whole time. So if we got 308 rooms, that's like 20, that's like 30 people, 40 people per room almost. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well, but probably more in certain rooms, right? Probably less in some rooms. Yeah.
And then we want to, almost run two in. So you have 2 parallel ones are both doing funding, so they're some of the sizes a bit more, yeah.
Right.
But then that might be adding unnecessary complexity.
Right. If we did it on Zoom, it might be a little easier to like spin up a breakout room like for part of the event and then like close it down, spin up another one. Hosting it ourselves, I'm pretty sure the strategy is going to be pick a number to begin with.
Yeah, pre-plan it.
And then we'll have X number of breakout rooms, kind of like stages. Where like this is the stage for and during this on this stage, like during this time, we've got funding and the sessions within the funding topic, and then the tokenomics comes after, or whatever, however it works out.
Cool.
But that's probably like 8 breakout sessions if we go for 300 people. Because probably, I mean, we're asking everyone to show up the whole time. People, a fair number of people probably won't. That's cool, but hopefully they'll come for a good amount of time and not just like, especially the session leaders, really. They don't just come and lead a session and leave.
And would there be time for if people want to do like hour or 2 in community and then they want to do some publishing or something else, or do we want just people to stay in the same one for 4 hours?
Yeah, I mean, they should be able to bounce around if they want.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And then we don't know how long. Some people might want to do a short 10-minute session. Some people might want to do a longer session. We left that pretty open on the forum. So I think that's the next step really is following up with people who applied to lead sessions and see what they're thinking, see how long they're going to need. And then we can start putting stuff on a schedule.
Yeah.
If they want to use like a whiteboard and like a Miro whiteboard, like making sure they have that ready ahead of time so that they can share that with the breakout room when their session starts. Zoom, we just did topic, time zone. This one, this is actually, we'll go back to that one. Let's look at preferred week. So it's time to start figuring out a day. Most responses were the first week of December. So we asked them, we gave them options of choosing between these 3 weeks. So last week of November, first week of December, or second week of December. Most people chose the first week of December, but they could also select multiple options. So this is people who chose the first 2 weeks, either one or both. And this is people who chose either one or both of the last 2 weeks. And so I think it's definitely between these 2 weeks. And given that the first week of December seems to have a little more, it's kind of just like, I think we should just go with that one. But if anybody feels strongly, we could go with the last week of November. I think those are pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah, so probably that. And then preferred day. Oh, keep doing that. It looks like
This is cool though, by the way, that you've got in these nice infographics.
Sorry, say again.
No, it's cool that we can visualize it like this. Makes it a lot easier.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. It's like, when are we going to do? Oh, we want to just do what's best for the most people, and hopefully there's anybody. We've got enough leeway and time for people to adjust. But yeah, looks like Thursday's the winner there, which kind of makes the most sense. Thursday seems to be the best day for like Twitter Spaces and stuff too. So, so that would put us at Thursday, December 7th, I think, as the most popular day. December 7th, yeah. And then I messed up the time zone chart here. It's not sorted right, so this is the correct time zone chart. Most in the UTC 1/2 group, which is probably our European friends over there. Is that right? What UTC are you guys?
UTC +8 is me in Asia.
Is what? Is +3?
+8.
+8 is Asia. Okay, this is the Asia group.
Yeah.
Sweet. So +8. I'm -7 in California. So totally opposite.
True.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's going to be tough. We've got. I think these are our two biggest. So it looks like Europe and Asia. We've got more interest than in US, which is going to be 4 through 7. So if we do it in the morning on the 7th for Europe, that would be nighttime for US on the 6th. Interesting. Yeah, there's no good time. Anyone have ideas?
Just out of interest, the one that Research Hub did, was that like European time based primarily, or do you know how that one worked?
It's like, let's see if I can find any information. That's last year. Huh. So I'm using Bing.
If it's like I think if it's like Hong Kong time, 10 p.m., then it would be 7 a.m. 7 a.m. Your time, Elijah, and then it will be like in the afternoon at Europe, right?
And then 12. Yeah, I mean, because yeah, we're about 13 hours apart.
Yeah.
Well, actually, opposite direction.
Yep. It's 2 p.m. in UK. So probably Asia at night, your morning, and then afternoon for Europe.
Yeah, I guess that makes the most sense.
Mm.
Because if we try and do it morning for Europe, that's too late, I think.
Yep.
It's going to be after midnight for US.
Yeah.
And we try and do it morning for Asia, it's going to be after midnight for Europe. But if we do it morning, like early, like super early here, hopefully it's still early enough for Asia.
True. But if most people are in Europe, then it's afternoon for them on Thursday. Do you think they're gonna make it? It's a work day.
Yeah, I think so. You know, the Twitter spaces tend to be most popular on that day, and a lot of people. Yeah, we were just on one a couple hours ago.
Okay.
What do you think about it?
Sorry, that was afternoon time for Europe, night for Asia, morning for America. Was that correct?
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable. And we're thinking the 7th, which was, what day is that? Saturday, is that
So Thursday.
Thursday? Afternoon on Thursday. Yeah, I mean, what kind of time would afternoon be? Kind of like 3, 4 p.m. or?
Yeah, what UTC are you guys? Are you right now?
Me, is that me you're asking?
Yeah.
Let me just check that because I don't actually know. UTC.
Yeah, for me, I'm UTC +3, but it's okay for me also UTC +1.
I think I'm +3.
Okay.
+3 here as well.
Oh, let me double check that because that doesn't sound right. No, so I'm +1, sorry. Yeah.
That's fine. Okay. Okay, so that's an 8-hour difference from me. So if we did it at like 8 a.m. for me, that'd be like, yeah, like a 4 in the afternoon for you.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's good because it's towards the end of the workday, so people probably will be free.
Yeah, and then that would be like midnight for Asia. All right, well, we can see, I think part of it will depend on our keynote speaker, who we choose for that, which I'd like to get David from Bankless DAO, because he did a series or from Bankless HQ, the podcast. He's also a token holder in the DAO, but doesn't vote for good reason because he holds too many tokens. But he did a series on DeSci, right, which has kind of spurred a lot of this interest from Bankless DAO and DeSci. So I think if we can get him to be a keynote, he is on the East Coast. He lives on the East Coast, who knows where he'd be at this time, but based in the U.S. So we'll see. I think, yeah, if we did it early on West Coast, that would be the way to go. So okay, we'll see if we can see if we can maybe start at like 8 a.m. Start like a welcome session from Bankless DeSci for the first like 30 minutes, then like a keynote address for the next 30 minutes, and then like 2.5 hours of breakout rooms and like a 30-minute closing session. Like a 4-hour thing. Yeah, there's really no good time. Okay, well that's at least we've got December 7th. I think dialed in. We can try and make that work with as we follow up with people who submitted the form. Are getting a little later in the hour here, so let's move on. That looks like most probably December 7th. So. Yuna, I know we've been working. You were working on the Ethereum grant, and I want to get to that in a second. I'm going to give a little preview of my grant application and let you take over. Here. Sorry, I should have had this pulled up already. So we've had two two organizations verbally offer or to sponsor the event. Last week, I also submitted a grant application to the marketing DAO on Near. So Near protocol is all the projects now are funded by grassroots marketing DAOs. So Near Foundation gave a large allotment of funding to these grassroots marketing DAOs and said, "You guys are in charge of funding projects now. Fund projects in the community because you are the community." So I applied because I've been working in Near for a while, and I think with Bankless DAO being a media DAO and us putting on this unconference, producing 20 tons of content, it's gonna be like 20 something hours of content with breakout rooms and stuff. It's a good opportunity to collaborate with the Near Marketing DAO. So I submitted this proposal and just sort of talks about potential breakout rooms we're going to have, myself, the squad. So everyone, so Barrett and Yuna, I gave you both shout outs on here and linked to Twitters. So if you're getting scoped out by random people in the Near ecosystem, this might be why. And yeah, so presenting this here now for everyone's awareness and critique and feedback and hopefully support. Goal is, just some pretty basic marketing KPIs. I think Near has some great tech that could be used by the people in the DeSci ecosystem. So goal is to recruit a couple session leaders from the Near ecosystem and onboard one Bankless DAO project, which if they decide to fund us, our multi-sig signers will have to create a multi-sig on Near to receive those funds. So we will, by default, if they choose to fund us, we will meet this KPI. Ha 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 ha! Excellent. And we just got to get 10 people in Bankless DAO to create the wallet. So I think pretty modest KPIs, but realistic KPIs and goals. And yeah, asking for a one-time sponsorship of 2,500 because I did a very rough estimated accounting of potential costs. And this is definitely not set in stone, very estimated, but just based upon the people who have volunteered so far and a rough estimate of potential hours leading up to the event. This is kind of what I came up with as a rough number, minimum cost probably, because this is only like thinking about the event, not even thinking about like Barrett, what you're doing with DeSci 101 lesson. So I think that's what I'm going to lead into Yuna taking over now, because Yuna's been working on another grant application for Ethereum Foundation that would more just support our work in general as Bankless DeSci, an organization, so beyond just the event. So this is like kind of all updates on funding right now. But yeah, Yuna, take it over.
Sure. I'm still drafting the application because I'll need a little bit more information. But the Ethereum grant is a grant at or under 30K and is for the whole project development. They're asking about a budget, like how are we gonna spend? So I put in community event. There's educational content creation, the DeSci 101. I think there's also marketing campaign that we might gonna do or collaborate with like KOLs and stuff. And the other thing I can think of, are we gonna fund any researches like this DAO, or is it like purely educational?
That might be a long-term goal, funding projects with, that align with our mission. Right now, I'd say that's for the amount that they could give us, probably not realistic. We could maybe fund like some small work, but yeah, I think maybe down the road.
Okay. All right then. Barat, I need to touch base with you about the DeSci educational video stuff to see how the budget is gonna be distributed in the best way so I can put in the application. And also some other question, like Ethereum asks for a roadmap for the DAO. Have we already drafted it, or I can come up with one where we can discuss and come up with one for the roadmap? I think it's a group discussion thing.
Yeah, for sure. The closest I guess we have for that is these meeting notes, and the project board. But yeah, long term, I've been working also on this proposal for Bankless DeSci for a while now. It's kind of gone dormant, but I'm going to reactivate this and submit this to them. But I think part of the long term roadmap is maybe in here, because this is, finding deal flow, investing in projects, and helping projects get off the ground is definitely something that makes sense for a group that is doing education and outreach, and hosting events, right? And trying to put people who are thought leaders front and center, because those people who are thought leaders are the ones usually who are looking to get investment, right? Right, and bringing, so having an event like we're doing, I think, is a great potential option for deal flow, or an opportunity for deal flow. So
Okay, I love it.
yeah, I guess maybe that's the long-term vision. Yeah, kind of what you're getting at in terms of like supporting projects, helping educate, connecting, independent researchers, entrepreneurial scientists into Web3 or want to be into Web3, doing these sorts of things. So this isn't exactly a roadmap, but I think there's some good material here that we can use.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I get some notes on that. Yep. Another question they ask is, what problems are being solved by within the scope of the project, and also like how are we different from the other groups? I guess we can take the Bankless DAO approach here, like it's initiative within the Bankless DAO, right?
Right. Yeah.
And also our team members' experience.
Definitely that. Being, I guess, our particular mission on, we're combining Bankless DAO's mission, I guess, with the concept of DeSci.
Yeah.
So a lot of DeSci projects are, in one way or another, right? They're all decentralized and they're all sort of enabling that. So I think that's, I don't know. It's I think that's why, it's my theory why we got a lot of interest when the Twitter was announced and the event was announced, is that it resonates, I think, with a lot of projects. Barrett, I'm sure anyone else, feel free to chime in on that. Sean I wasn't able to get in touch with Sean either. I didn't see him in our group, so I don't know. Sean stopped by last week and offered to get involved with grants, but I wasn't able to follow up with them. So
I see.
yeah, I guess we'll have to continue defining what differentiates us and what's what we're adding to the space, to the DeSci space and to Ethereum community as we apply for that grant. But yeah, it sounds like you're killing it in terms of identifying these sorts of things we need to get in there. So great work.
Sure.
If I can help in any other way, please let me know. Happy to give feedback on drafts and kind of get that in there. But I think once we, it sounds like we're well on our way. So thanks for taking lead on that.
Do you have an expectation of the deadline of the submission date?
No. What about you?
I think as soon as possible, but also make sure we have the right content, right? The right branding stuff and the right budget, the right roadmap. But I'll do it. I'll keep doing it.
Okay. I think what we could do to increase visibility and feedback around this process. I'll ping you in DMs. We can continue our conversation and sort of strategize on making sure we have the right input and feedback on this.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, and then dev updates. I teased this a little bit. Let me pull up GitHub real quick. Just give me 1 second here. Oh, we created that. Bankless DeSci org. Too many projects on GitHub. Repositories. All right, so this is what we've got so far. This is we have Bankless DeSci GitHub now. So Nehu deployed this on conference front end, which is just a for sale template for an event. So it's a very simple landing page. We're working on getting this up as soon as possible on banklessdesci.org. So we set up a Cloudflare account on the back end to make sure we can handle some traffic when it starts coming in from around the world. And we have both been kind of just updating some of the, going through the initial sort of setup with package updates and stuff, because Vercel used this template themselves to host an event. They hosted their big event, their annual conference 2 years ago, and then released the template. But it was 2 years ago, so a lot of the dependencies are a little outdated. So we're kind of just going through and cleaning that up and making sure that everything's tight on the back end before we deploy this to the website, banklessdesci.org. But so if you try and go to banklessdesci.org, you're just going to get a 404, unfortunately, because we already changed the name servers. But this is underway. It should be up soon. So this will say, Bankless DeSci Virtual Unconference, December 7th, 2023, register. And then here's the stages that we did have. So these are just 100 milliseconds, not the speed of the stage. It's one of the backend tools we're using that this template uses. So this template shows 3 stages right now. We'll probably have a drop down with all of the breakout rooms for the event. But we could very easily have the different stages, the different breakout rooms, the schedule right there, and then you just click. You see the speaker, and you can join the session right there. Oh, yeah, here's all the speakers. We could even do sort of an expo, quote unquote, or these could be our sponsors. We have a sponsor page. We could even do a job fair. Frankly, this template has built into it. So if people wanted to, if potential sponsors want to help support the development of connecting with our community, or if community members want to connect with each other better, sort of setting up profiles, enabling people to do more interactive things directly on banklessdci.org. So this is kind of why I'm pushing for this instead of Zoom, because I think it would be pretty badass. You can hop up on a stage, and when you join a stage, email for everybody who wants to know. Yeah, well, you can change your role. You can join as a moderator, speaker, attendee. So if people want to just join the audience as an attendee, they can just listen. If they want to join the stage, they can join as a speaker. We can send. We'll figure out exactly how to onboard people to the event. It won't be just like join a Zoom room, click on a breakout room. We'll give people roles when they join. But I think this has everything we need to run our own event and do some cool shit. So that's what Nahu and I have been working on in the backend for dev updates. Comments, ideas.
Yeah, looking good. And sorry, I might have just missed the part. Oh, there's going to be one point where we're stress testing or something to make sure it will be okay. Yeah,
definitely. And honestly, the loads that we're looking at right now are like just doing some rough back of the napkin calculations. It looks like we should have no problem.
Cool. And do we have like something in place, assuming worst case is not working or something on the day that we can say use this instead?
Yeah, well, I definitely want to start using this for these calls before we get to the conference.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so if we can do that and have the weeklies on there, even have like a Bankless DeSci party or something, try and stress test it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's looking good. Looks like we're getting, we've been able to get a good handle on any potential concerns we had with deploying it. And now it's just sort of buttoning up the things we've identified and changing around the stuff on the front end. Cool. So we've got a few minutes here left. Yeah, I think one of the main things we've got to do is start reaching out to people. And I hope if you had any feedback now that we've sort of gone through some plans for communications and for the event about translation, love to hear that.
Sorry. Well, I don't know I'm just learning about this, so I don't know the roadmap, but if we are going to need to work on a workflow for translations, I can just prepare something and submit it for you, present it for you, so that we can elaborate it for the future.
Right on. Cool. We'll appreciate that.
Yeah, sure. Also, I was going to ask about, I just saw it was written like feature, but I was going to ask about Givit grant plans. It's not a grant, I guess, fundraising.
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
They've started doing grants. Yeah, they just started doing the quadratic funding grants just now, but that's always confused people because the way the quadratic funding platforms work is it is donations, it is crowdfunding, right? But it's competitive in that the more donations you get, the bigger grant you get to match.
Yeah, actually, we have used Givit also for the earthquake fundraising initiatives, and now also we are using it for Bankless Turkish. Actually, we are one of the verified projects, and next week, I guess, no, the 1st of November, we are going to participate in a live event to shill our project. So, I mean, I'm kind of experienced about Givit stuff. So if you want give it a chance, I can also work on it if you like.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of the content, we've been generating now in terms of writing grant applications can be, updated and reused on other platforms. So I think that's something that, we've got some initial content and stuff that can be used to help move that process along. Yeah, somebody taking lead on that and making sure that it gets done is what we need. So that'd be great.
Okay, sure.
Sweet. Barrett, I know we've got to set a meeting. Were you able to get your guest pass in Bankless DAO?
No, it's really annoying. Even the thread that I've been added to the Academy one, I can't actually respond to it. I'll resubmit it. It's a bit weird because you liked it as well, so they should have done it by now. I'll submit it again in a sec.
Okay. Yeah, I think I forget what the requirements are to get a guest pass, but I haven't issued one in a while, so I'm not sure.
It seemed fairly easy. Like a lot of people were just requesting it, not without any kind of reasoning, and they were getting it awarded. So maybe it just got missed in the group, so I'll repost it.
Yeah.
There are no requirements actually to get a guest pass. I mean, you just verify, and that's all. But you should ask someone. But I can help you if you like.
Yeah, but what's your Discord thing? I can tag both you and Floor Science just so you can see it, and then
Sorry, what was?
What's your Discord username? Do you mind just
it's
posting in the chat, and I'll send you a friend?
Yeah, it's ilk. You can just see it here. Yeah, the right one.
I forget what channel. Cool. Yeah, we have a conversation going with Bankless Academy, and they were trying to tag you, and I was like, "Oh, we got to get him in here." All right. Well, yeah, we'll follow up on that. Make sure we get you in here. Bankless Publishing. Oh, we should have a blog article coming out today. Oh yeah, here's our Bankless DeSci onboarding channel. They tagged the wrong Barrett. So this is fuck sound. So once we can get you the guest pass, you should be able to get in here, and I'll drop you that link right now as well.
Yeah, I can see that part, but I just can't message. It says like I'm not allowed.
Right. Okay. Just reactivated that, and then last thing I want to bring up is we've got an invitation from the DAO stewards, so a Bankless DAO project that is basically focused on meta governance, so participating in governance of other DAOs. And Vita DAO and Bankless DAO, I think, did a token swap. And so to sort of solidify this marriage or deal, whatever. So the DAO stewards have reached out to us asking if we want to, or if we can, elect somebody to fill this role of a delegate for Vita DAO. So Crypto Shrimp has raised his hand, and I support that nomination. But if we want to go through a nomination and election process, just like we did for the multi-sig, that can be a great solution to electing somebody. But ultimately, we got to put somebody forward as this individual who will be this delegate, this governance delegate. They would vote on snapshot proposals, update the DAO stewards, internal doc. They talk on the Vita DAO forums, comment on the Vita DAO forums. Right, they have to be active. They can't be missing messages and missing votes. But there's compensation in bank tokens, so 2,000 bank a week. which would give you governance rights in Bankless DAO for being an active, member of Bankless DeSci. I think this is a great opportunity. This is, so I think if anybody else is interested, nominate yourself, and otherwise it's going to default to Crypto Shrimp, which is definitely not a bad deal. That's a pretty awesome default. But if anybody else wants to get in on this and have an election, I think that putting our best foot forward is within the priority of the entire group. So it's open to feedback. That's my last item today. Open floor, and then we can wrap it up.
Yeah, just update on the progress of the DeSci 101 stuff. I didn't get much of a chance last week, but this entire rest of the week is blocked off, so I haven't got much going on. I will post an update. I can share what I've done so far now. It's still a bit rough. Let me just find the link.
Yeah, go for it. I'll stop sharing my screen.
I'll just post the link in the.
Oh.
Just want to make sure it's shareable. People. So still a decent amount of work to do. I'm definitely going to trim it down, but I think within probably 1 or 2 days, I will have the final-ish version, and then I'll reach out to a few people that kind of want to get involved to kind of go through it, add, remove, etc. It's still a bit too text-heavy at the moment. One thing I did want to kind of run through maybe with people is the way I've kind of gone about it was, go through explaining the pain points in traditional science and then how DeSci is solving each one of them. Now that adds up to quite a lot of content. So I don't know whether, for this one, we just focus on maybe funding, which is one of the more prominent ones that is being solved. And then later down the line, we can have a specific module in, IP and DeSci and other kind of problems within traditional science and how DeSci is solving it. Or we just cover each pain point lightly in this one. That's the only one I'm a little bit unsure of. But yeah, actually, we don't need to take a massive amount of time on this. There's a couple of people that want to be a bit more involved, which I try to set up a meeting at some point this week. I'll post a link publicly in the group.
Awesome. Yeah, I just took a quick scroll through. I'll try and add some comments and stuff later. We can chat about this anytime.
Hold off on adding comments maybe for like a day. Let me tidy up a bit more. So it's been worth your time going through and adding comments, basically.
Yeah, all good, no rush. Cool, glad to see some slides coming together on that. Whenever it's ready for that group, we can definitely get some group feedback on that as well.
And it would be nice to get out kind of like a month before the conference. So then, I think we've got 3 weeks until it's a month. So I think it should be enough to get finalized within the next 3 weeks. And finalized means, live for interaction on the website, assets done, etc.
Nice. Awesome. I know we didn't get to LinkedIn or anything, or you and I also spoke the other day about social media, but lots of stuff going on. So we can talk more about that next week and make more progress there.
Yeah.
Cool. Any final words?
No, it's looking good. Yeah, we definitely can see the week-on-week progress. So good sign. And it was a good shout to make these weekly, I think.
Yeah. So wait, what was that last thing you said?
Actually, it was a good call to make these meetings weekly instead of bi-weekly.
Yeah, definitely. Things are moving way too fast now. Sweet. All right, cool. That's all I have on the agenda. I'll try and share these earlier next week, but ultimately, honestly, it's a little tricky with working during the day and then yeah, just Monday. This happens on Tuesday, so either way, I hope I'm sharing this stuff early enough and allowing time for people to think about it and get feedback in. But if there's anything you want me to include on the agenda next week, feel free to share it anytime or in the chat. Get this out there. Yeah, open feedback on how I'm helping things stay organized. But awesome. Thank you all for continuing to contribute to this journey on Bankless DeSci, and stop the recording.